Let's start with our first news. Today we talk about what's next for JDM following his loss to Carlos Prates at UFC Perth. We witnessed an incredible performance from Prates, one that impressed Islam Makhachev and Ian Gary. JDM was dominated in the fight, absorbing heavy pressure from the very start. Although he landed a few takedowns, Prates controlled most of the action. Strikes, knees, and kicks kept coming until the fight was stopped in round 3. Now the big question is what's next for JDM after such a one-sided defeat. Despite the loss, he remains near the top of the welterweight rankings. Possible opponents include the loser of Sean Brady versus Buckley or the winner of Leon Edwards versus Daniel Rodriguez. Fans are divided, with some suggesting JDM should move up a weight class. Others believe he needs to refine defense, improve head movement, and sharpen counter-striking. Some even suggested training adjustments and working with elite boxing coaches. The debate continues as the welterweight division waits for JDM's next move. Meanwhile, Prates' stock continues to rise after delivering one of the most dominant performances of the night. The UFC is already highlighting the fight, pushing Prates further into title contention conversations. For JDM, this moment could serve as a turning point in his career trajectory. He still has elite skills, but adjustments are clearly needed after this setback. Whether he stays at welterweight or moves up, major decisions are ahead. Fans will be watching closely to see how JDM rebounds from this defeat. Every option remains open as the division continues to evolve rapidly. Right now, the focus shifts toward matchmaking decisions and how the UFC chooses to rebuild JDM after a tough night against Carlos Prates in Perth. Moving forward in welterweight division landscape ahead for JDM, move on to another news at the start. Today, we turn to a major update involving Carlos Prates, who appears to be sending a clear warning to Islam Makhachev following his recent rise in the welterweight division. After his impressive performance, Prates has made his intentions obvious, and he is not holding back on calling out the biggest names in the sport. In recent activity online, Prates hinted at a potential clash with Ian Gary, a fight that is expected to take place in August. But what really grabbed attention was what he posted on his Instagram story. He shared an image featuring Islam on a fight poster, but what stood out was a knife stabbed directly through it. That message did not go unnoticed by fans or analysts. It was a strong visual statement, clearly showing where his focus is right now and who he believes is next in line. At the same time, the UFC made a surprising move by releasing the full fight on their official YouTube channel. This is something that rarely happens, usually reserved for massive performances or breakout stars. The last time we saw something similar was when a fighter delivered a major knockout, and the promotion used it to elevate their status even further. This kind of exposure is often a sign that the UFC is preparing to push a fighter towards something bigger. Because of this, there is growing speculation that Carlos Prates could be in line for a title shot sooner than expected. His momentum inside the division is building fast, and with the UFC actively promoting his recent performance, his name is now being seriously discussed among top contenders. Meanwhile, discussions around other divisions continue to heat up. Khamzat is still being viewed as a problem for anyone at middleweight, with many believing he presents too much pressure and physical dominance for Sean Strickland to handle. His style, pace, and wrestling threat continue to separate him from the rest of the division, making him one of the most dangerous matchups in the UFC today. As the landscape shifts, Prates' rise, Islam's position at the top, and Khamzat's dominance all continue to shape the future of multiple divisions in a rapidly changing fight scene. Move on to another news at the start. Sean O'Malley is demanding a huge incentive as he sets his sights on the UFC White House card, stating he wants a $1 million bonus to make the night even more special. Ali is currently booked to fight Ayan Zahabi on the White House card, and he recently spoke with TMZ Sports. When asked whether he is feeling an extra level of excitement from fans for the event, he explained that the atmosphere is already building in a unique way. He said there is a different kind of excitement, because people who have never watched fighting before will tune in just because of the setting. According to him, the idea of a UFC event at the White House is crazy, and that alone is enough to pull in massive attention from casual viewers. He called it a major opportunity for a vintage Sugar performance, where he can showcase his best skills on one of the biggest stages possible. He also made it clear what he wants from the night. He said he needs a beautiful knockout, and mentioned there is supposedly a $1 million crypto bonus available. He added that he would absolutely love to get that reward if he can deliver the performance he is aiming for. He went on to say that both the co-main event and the main event are expected to produce knockouts, and in order for him to stand out, it has to be an insane finish. He stressed that it cannot just be a normal win, it has to be next level. He pointed out that he has done it before and believes he needs to do it again. He ended by saying confidently that he is going to do it again, and that on June 14th, he will deliver exactly what he always brings to the cage. Meanwhile, President Trump recently told the media that construction is already underway on a 5,000-seat arena, adding even more attention to the scale of the upcoming event. With the UFC heavily promoting the event and fighters openly chasing massive bonuses, the White House card is shaping up to be one of the most talked about shows in recent memory, bringing together mainstream attention, high-stakes performances, and unprecedented global curiosity around what unfolds inside the cage on fight night. Everything continues building toward the big moment ahead. Move on to another news at the start. Carlos Prates continues to rise as one of the most dangerous finishers in the UFC, and his latest victory only adds to his growing reputation. The fighter has now scored 7 knockouts in his last 7 wins, a streak that is not just impressive, but absolutely elite at the highest level of competition. It is the kind of run that forces the entire division to take notice. In fact, many believe the UFC could use more fighters like him and Ilya, athletes who bring constant pressure, violence, and highlight real knockouts every time they step inside the cage. Fans are increasingly drawn to fighters who can end fights at any moment, and Prates is quickly becoming one of those must-watch names. Following his latest win, attention now shifts to what comes next for Prates in the welterweight division. With momentum building and his name rising fast, matchmaking becomes a key factor in shaping his future path. As discussed earlier, Prates has already made it clear who he wants next, calling for the winner of the Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary matchup. That potential direction shows just how confident he is after his recent performances. He is not looking for slow progression or easy fights. Instead, he is aiming directly at the very top of the division. A fight against either of those elite names would immediately test whether his knockout power can translate against championship-level opposition. At this stage, Prates has positioned himself as one of the most exciting rising threats in the UFC. His finishing ability, combined with his aggressive style, makes him a problem for anyone in the division. However, stepping up in competition will be the real test of whether his momentum can continue at the same pace. For now, all eyes remain on how the UFC chooses to move him next, and whether his call-out for the winner of Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary will be answered. His rise has been fast, violent, and undeniable, and the division is officially on notice as he continues to climb toward the top. With the division heating up, every decision from here could define the next title challenger landscape, and Prates remains one of the most closely watched rising contenders in the UFC today as momentum continues to build around his explosive finishing style inside the octagon moving forward in the sport. Move on to another news at the start. Fighters training with Khamzat ahead of his fight with Sean Strickland have been speaking about just how skilled he looks inside the gym. One of the most recent additions to his training group, Brendan Allen, has also shared his thoughts on why he believes Khamzat will come out on top at UFC 328. When asked about the matchup, Brendan Allen explained that Khamzat is simply on another level. He described Sean Strickland as a fighter with a more limited skill set, saying he relies heavily on awkward movement and pressure rather than a wide technical arsenal. He added that this style can be shocking for opponents who have never experienced it before, but believes it will not be enough against Khamzat. According to him, Khamzat is too skilled, too sharp, and too complete in every area of the game. He believes Khamzat has improved not only physically, but also mentally, becoming more controlled, more patient, and more dangerous with experience. He emphasized that maturity has added another layer to Khamzat's already elite abilities. Brendan Allen went on to say that the way Khamzat approaches this fight will surprise many people. He suggested that fans are underestimating just how dominant Khamzat can be when he executes his game plan without mistakes. In his view, the combination of wrestling pressure striking improvement and fight IQ will be overwhelming for Sean Strickland. With UFC 328 just days away, anticipation continues to build as the promotion increases coverage of the event. Training, footage, interviews, and breakdowns are all circulating, adding more attention to the main event matchup. As the fight approaches, discussions around Khamzat's dominance are growing louder, with many believing he may be entering his most complete version yet. Confidence within his camp remains high, and supporters are expecting a statement performance on fight night inside the octagon. Many analysts believe this version of Khamzat could be the most dangerous we have ever seen, especially with improvements in timing and decision-making under pressure. His ability to close distance quickly and chain attacks together has been highlighted as a major concern for any opponent standing across from him. As UFC 328 gets closer, expectations continue to rise around a possible dominant finish that could reshape the division landscape entirely. All attention remains fixed on fight week preparations inside the UFC spotlight, now building move on to another news at the start. Charles Oliveira is one of the greatest lightweight fighters of this generation, and his name is stamped across the UFC record books. But the big question being asked is whether Charles Oliveira is afraid of Dana White. Recently, he appeared in a promotional video for Aviator, where fighters were connected to a lie detector test and asked a series of personal and career-related questions. During the session, he was asked whether the Brazilian soccer team would win the World Cup, and if he considers himself the greatest Brazilian fighter of all time. Oliveira answered yes to both and successfully passed the lie detector results. She was also asked about Conor McGregor and whether he believes Conor is afraid to return to competition. Oliveira said yes, pointing to Conor's long period of inactivity, and that answer also passed the test. However, the moment that sparked controversy came when he was asked if he is afraid of Dana White. Oliveira answered no, but surprisingly, the lie detector indicated deception. Following the result, Charles responded by saying, "He's the boss, right?" suggesting a level of respect and hierarchy inside the organization. This moment quickly sparked discussion among fans and analysts about fighter relationships. With UFC leadership and the influence Dana White holds over the roster, many believe that Oliveira is not alone in showing a level of caution or awareness when dealing with the UFC president. The conversation then shifted toward other fighters who may feel similar pressure within the organization. Overall, the lie detector segment added another layer of intrigue to Oliveira. Already legendary career and his position inside the sport remains one of the most respected in MMA today. While discussions continue around power, respect, and influence behind the scenes in the UFC additionally, the segment also highlighted how unusual these promotional lie detector videos have become for fans and fighters alike as they blur the line between entertainment and real perception of honesty. Many observers pointed out that while Oliveira responses were mostly confident and calm, the machine results created unexpected controversy around simple yes or no answers. This has led to further debate about how much weight should be given to lie detector tests in sports media content and fighter interviews moving forward, especially when dealing with high-profile personalities in combat sports. Industry discussions remain ongoing across the MMA. Move on to another news at the start. Carlos Prates has once again shown his confidence and personality inside the octagon, this time revealing what he was saying to JDM during their fight at UFC Perth. Leading up to the bout, Prates made it clear that he expected a pure striking battle, but the fight ended up including grappling exchanges as well. After his impressive victory, Prates spoke to the media and confirmed that he started talking trash the moment JDM went for takedowns. According to him, the exchange began when he was already bleeding, but instead of slowing down, he used it to fuel his mindset inside the cage. He explained that during the fight, he told JDM that he had suddenly become a wrestler, questioning his decision to shoot for takedowns in the middle of a striking contest. He said it in a sarcastic way, adding that he was basically mocking the change in strategy during the heat of the moment. Prates described how he reacted when JDM attempted the takedown, saying he opened his arms and continued talking to him mid-exchange. He repeated the same taunt, pointing out that JDM had turned into a wrestler right in front of him, making it clear he was trying to disrupt his opponent's rhythm mentally as well as physically. Despite the grappling attempts from JDM, Prates managed to stay composed and continued applying pressure throughout the fight. His striking remained sharp, and his confidence never dropped, even when taken to the ground. The post-fight comments highlight just how comfortable Prates feels in high-pressure situations, especially against elite opposition in the welterweight division. His ability to talk, strike, and stay composed under fire has quickly become one of his most recognizable traits. Analysts have pointed out that very few welterweights would willingly engage in a pure striking battle with Prates, considering his finishing record and knockout power. His reputation as a dangerous finisher continues to grow with every performance. With another statement win added to his resume, Prates is now firmly in the spotlight as one of the most exciting rising contenders in the division, and his confidence inside the cage shows no signs of slowing down as he continues pushing toward bigger fights in the UFC landscape.